Alrighty, folks, how's it going? Appreciate it. Hey, don't be shy, don't be shy. Alright, who are we here with today?
I'm Shabrika.
And I'm David.
And are you two married?
Yes, we're married.
And where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore. Okay,
yes,
what about you?
I'm from Georgia.
Georgia, wow, very interesting. So did you guys meet in Texas or?
We met in Georgia.
Do you guys remember the first time you guys met?
Yep, absolutely.
Alright, let's hear that. How did you guys meet, sir?
So I was in the Marines, and when I got out the Marines...
Appreciate your service.
Thank you for the support. I was looking for some place to live. I had been working in Louisiana, and I was able to travel and kind of travel back and forth to Louisiana to work. And Atlanta was one of the places I was thinking about moving. Well, when I got to Atlanta, the day I got to Atlanta, I met up with one of the guys I was in the Marines with, which happened to be...
my best friend.
Uh-oh.
Her husband,
which was a guy I was acquainted with in the Marines. And the day I got there, they introduced me to her.
And do you remember the first time you laid eyes on her?
Absolutely.
What was that meeting like?
What did I say? What did I tell them?
He was gonna marry me.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. How many years ago was this?
This is like almost 11 years ago.
Dang! Over that, and he was telling the truth. So, what is your rendition of that story? When you first saw him, did you think he was crazy, or was you like, I'm kind of digging him too? Because that's very odd for someone to say, I'm gonna marry you, and it actually happens on the first day.
I had to warm up to it.
And this was the first day.
Well, he didn't tell me, he told them.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't tell her like I was going, but after we like when I said ways, I called him like, I'm married her.
How did you know this? What made you think, out of all the billions of people on this planet, I'm gonna marry her, and it actually happened? What sparked that inside of you to really believe that?
I just feel like I just took to her demeanor. That was like one of the bigger things. She was just really she's like my opposite. So I'm really like outgoing and like talk to people. She's like really reserved, real introvert. And I'm like the opposite, so that was attractive to me.
How is your memory with the first time you laid eyes on him?
I don't know. I didn't have any expectations. I just went into it like.
Oh, so he swept you off your feet.
I didn't know I was
with a timeline. You had no idea.
I didn't know I was getting set up. So I just went over there and we kind of started talking from there, and you know.
After how long after the meeting did you guys say, hey, it's official?
I don't know.
You said an hour?
No.
Oh, they said an hour?
Probably was a few months. Because like I said, I used to work on oil rigs, so I was working out of town. Like I would go to work for a month and I would be off for 2 weeks. So we weren't able to see each other, in those 2 weeks. So
gotcha.
It took probably about 3 or 4 months before we was like, before she took me home to the country.
Okay, and do you remember the first time you realized this might be the man I want to spend the rest of my life with? Or did it just gradually happen for you?
I thought it gradually happened.
So there wasn't no specific moment, because you was out of the blue, apparently.
I think it gradually happened. I don't think there was a specific moment. I feel like it's a lot that goes into, choosing a mate and a spouse. So I don't think it was just one thing that happened.
Besides that first day when you said you go marry her, where's that specific moment where it was confirmation, like, yeah, I'm definitely going to marry this woman?
It definitely gradually happened, but I can remember the day where I was like, I'm about to really propose. I gave myself I didn't give myself much time, like 2 months. I had to put an engagement party together, buy the ring, had to do all that stuff. So
how was that engagement? I don't want to give any advice on how I would propose, but do you remember what that process was like for you?
Yeah, I was good. So it took me about 8 weeks to get it all together. I was good until the last 2 days. And then it all was hitting me I didn't get cold feet. It's just I had a lot of pressure on myself. I had all these people flying in town, and we did it at Ocean Prime, so it was a nice restaurant. I put a lot of pressure on myself. The wedding was kind of the same way. I was good. I was ready to get married until the night before, and then it was man.
Ooh, here it comes.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to, young fellas out there who is looking to join union with the woman they feel like they want to marry the first time they meet him?
I would be honest and say take your time, man. live your life. Not to say like be wild and stuff, but like really take the time to understand what you actually want. I think for a lot of us guys, we get into these relationships, into these situationships sometimes not really knowing who we are and stuff like that. So I feel like learn who you are, learn what you like and don't like don't settle, and really identify what it is that you want out of your spouse.
Okay, for you, madam, what advice would you give to young ladies out there who may not be looking, but someone came their way and wants to marry them?
Slap them off their feet like myself.
I would say be open, be genuine, be healed, be ready, and be open to your spouse and be able to receive and give the love that you want and desire.
In closing, what advice would you give to folks who are just now married, the keys to have a long marriage?
Communication.
Communication.
Open communication, effective communication, active listening, and understanding.
Be intentional, like the things you did to fall in love, continue to do those things. Like don't get married and like draw back. If anything, things should get better. Yeah, like lean into your marriage, like believe in it, treat it like a baby, like you got a baby. Like,
now I don't want to be the party pooper, but are you telling me you don't believe in dry moments? Because marriage is a lifelong commitment.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna definitely have those moments where things are changing, bodies are changing, looks are changing, chemistry changes. You just have to be willing. That's the whole point of like knowing your spouse and being willing to. You gotta love that person's soul. Like that's important to love that person, that woman or that man. Love that person with all your heart, because things are gonna change. And during those times where things aren't so good, the love and the understanding and the patience is what's going to kick in.
I think the common thing that I see when I speak to the young married folks compared to the older, not saying you guys are old, but much older, more seasoned married folks, the common theme is fall in love with someone who you are willing to go through changes with.
Absolutely.
Because things are always going to change. And I think the younger folks don't really realize that in the beginning, and that's why you fall out of marriage a lot. But the older folks, they understand, like, hey, is this person you're willing to go through the changes with? Because it's going to change because you guys are more seasoned in it, and that's something you will understand.
Absolutely.
Am I getting that correct?
Yeah.
All right, well, I definitely appreciate you guys. You wasn't nervous to me, but I appreciate your undivided attention they're giving me on this beautiful Saturday. Much love and light to you, folks.